In this episode of the Swearwolves podcast, Grease is the word, as David and I discuss and review 2016's The Greasy Strangler.
We'll begin with a reign of terror. A few murders here and there.
Welcome back to the Swearwolves. I'm Bret.
I'm David.
David.
Hey, Bret, what's up?
Not much, man. How you feeling?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Dude, you know the day we got back from Mad Monster?
Yeah,
that night,
Sunday? Mm-hmm.
The AC in my house went out.
Oh, yeah.
On the hottest day of the year. Was it 1:15 outside? That was fun.
Yeah. When did it go out? Like, were you sleeping, or was it during the day, or what happened?
It was that night. My wife was just like, it feels warm in here. And I was like, it does feel kind of warm. And then it kept getting warmer, even though the AC was running. And I was like, that's not good. So then I got up on a chair and I'm feeling the vents. And I was like, that's warm air that's blowing. So that sucked. So then fortunately, we found somebody that could come out Monday morning, or Monday afternoon, actually. Came out, fixed it. And then, I don't think I told you this part. Then like Monday evening, like my wife gets home from work and she's like, it still feels warm in here. And I was like, well, that's because the repairman was working on it all day. Yeah. It's going to take a little bit of time for it to come down.
Sure.
And I was like, and it's blowing cold air. I can feel it. But then it kept shutting off. And I was like, why does it keep shutting off? And the house kept getting warmer. So there was still something wrong with it. So we actually had to check into a hotel that night. We had to board our dog. Yeah. And then the guy came back the next day. And in addition to the problem that he fixed on Monday, our thermostat was also having problems. So we had to replace that on Tuesday. So good times.
That sucks.
It does suck. But yeah, now it's nice and cool in the house.
Yeah. I remember one summer when I lived down there, obviously. Our daughter was newly born. So she was probably less than 2. Mm-hmm. And our son, we had both of them. And it was a Sunday night. And somebody hit up. Some car ran over like a power converter in the neighborhood.
Yeah. And the whole neighborhood lost power?
The whole neighborhood lost power, which means everybody lost air conditioning.
Yeah. And
you're sitting there in the dark for only so long before it's like it just starts creeping up and creeping up and creeping up. And it gets hot quick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Warm.
It warms up very fast.
And I was like, APS said they didn't know when it was going to get fixed. And so I was like, fuck this. We're going into a hotel.
Yep.
I'm not dicking around.
No. Dude, that was probably like 10 years ago, our AC went out on 4th of July weekend. Oh. Like on the Friday night of a 4th of July weekend or something. Mm-hmm. And we couldn't get anybody to come out for several days to fix it. It was awful.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah. My wife, I think, went and stayed with a friend. And then I stayed with the dog and just tried to keep her cool. I remember just walking around the house in my boxers for like an entire weekend. It was awful.
Just a handful of ice on your balls.
On my balls. And then at night, I would get my bed sheets wet and then turn the fan on high and like sleep under the blanket. It was awful.
Damn. Well, anyway. I'm glad you got it fixed.
Me too. Much better now.
That's a good thing. Anything else happening new? Hey, I got a question for you. This is not anything new that's happening, but I saw a commercial today for Pepto-Bismol. And like that.
The pink shit.
Indigestion, diarrhea.
Yeah.
However the fuck it goes, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I was like, and right before that commercial was a commercial for the new season of What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, do vampires shit? You think vampires shit? They have to, right? Because they're consuming blood. Their shit's black, though. Because all they're doing is drinking blood.
Really, really black.
Yeah. How do they know, like,
peeing? But yeah, there's probably some that comes out in the poop.
Yeah, and that pee probably looks pretty dark as well. If all you're consuming is blood, you got dark pee and dark poop.
They're probably slightly dehydrated. Yeah, and the shit just looks like black tar.
Yeah. And how do they know if they're like sick with something else? Like if they have an ulcer or something, they'll never know.
Like, do you have diarrhea? It's like always.
But yeah, and their poop is not hard.
Yeah,
it just runs right through them. But it got me thinking about monsters and villains in movies and if they poop or not. So that's my question to you. So we got vampires. We've agreed that they poop. Frankenstein's monster. he probably poops too because he does eat and drink in Bride of Frankenstein, right?
He does. Yeah. Frankenstein's monster definitely defecates. Wolfman, for sure.
Wolfman pisses probably everywhere, right? Because he's marking his territory.
Invisible Man, that'd be an interesting one. Like when he
Invisible
poops and
Man,
pees, does it become visible?
That is interesting.
Dude, that'd be fucking funny. You're just like minding your own business. All of a sudden there's a giant turd in the room. And you're like, oh, Invisible Man. He's done it again.
It's just dangling.
You see it slowly appear and then just plops on the table. And you're like, oh, there he is, that prankster.
We discovered him. He took a shit.
Yeah. You could never fire the Invisible Man because he would definitely shit on your boss's desk.
So Invisible Man, yes, his poop becomes visible and his pee becomes visible. The Mummy doesn't, because they've probably taken out all of the Mummy's like internal organs, right?
Yeah, I would imagine so. But his outfit, that's just a missed opportunity. He's got the perfect wiping material right there. True.
Maybe he's just everybody else's toilet paper. He's like, oh, fucking Frankenstein again.
God damn it.
They go, me have poop.
Me go caca.
Come here, mommy. Fuck.
Just uses his whole body to wipe. Hold still.
It's like that joke.
Just starts going up and down like a cat on a post.
Just wiping his ass on his. What about
Dude, you really got me
monsters?
thinking though. Oh, and the Invisible Man though, like just pissing in people's faces too.
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, it's fucking. It must be raining."
Yep.
Anytime you feel like a droplet on you, that's just somebody who's invisible pissing
on you, pissing in your face.
What about modern monsters? I wouldn't think Freddy does because he's a dream, and I don't. Well, sometimes you do pee in dreams, but
yeah,
I've never pooped in a dream. Have you ever pooped in a dream? I've had dreams about peeing, but I've never had dreams where I'm pooping.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. I've had dreams where I'm peeing and you wake up peeing. That's embarrassing.
Well, that used to happen when I was a kid, but nowadays it's like I have dreams that I'm peeing, and I never get relief.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No. Even as an adult, like I mean, mostly as a kid, but it's happened a couple times as an adult where you wake up and you go, "Oh no,
oh no."
With my first wife, we were on our honeymoon in Italy, and
Jesus.
One night that happened. So
we discovered
somewhere in an Italian landfill's my pajama pants.
That's awful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that happened to you. However, I would think that Jason Voorhees does poop.
Yes.
At least pre part 6.
Before he became a zombie? Yeah.
Before he became
like just a man?
Jason. Yeah, because zombies eat a lot, but are zombies pooping? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, there's no digestive system.
Michael Myers poops.
Oh, he absolutely poops. And frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eating dogs. He's got a high fiber diet.
Yeah. Drinks a lot of coffee.
Michael!
Drinks coffee and cigarettes. That's why he's up all the time. You know, he never sleeps. That's the other thing too. Is like, how do they sleep? Does Michael just like
curl up in a ball in the fetal position? Yeah,
yeah, sucking his thumb.
Michael Myers pooping though, like chasing a babysitter or something. Like, oh, hold that thought. I had Chipotle earlier. You got any Pepto?
Yeah. Well, that was just something that was on my mind today. So I thought I'd bring it up with you. Like whether or not famous killers go poop or pee. And if you have any thoughts on that, you should contact us.
Yeah.
Oh, we did change something.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We have a new email address.
Yeah. What is that, David?
It's contact@theswearwolves.com.
David, we go to a lot of conventions, and seemingly every convention that we've gone to, I think it's almost every convention. I always see a booth dedicated to a certain movie, and the actors of the movie are there, and maybe the filmmakers. I don't even know who's there because I've never stopped by the booth. We've never stopped by the booth. We've always seen it though.
Yeah, and the only time we even came close was when we were at CreepyCon, and Michael St. Michael's came up to us because of my shirt.
Yeah, you were wearing a Burbs shirt, and he said,
he's like, I was in that movie.
And we were like, oh, cool.
Yeah, awesome.
He's like, didn't he say they cut him out, though, at the end?
He said that he thought they were going to cut him out because he got into a fight or an argument, I guess, with someone on the set. And then he's like, but then when the movie came out...
He was in it.
Yeah. He's like, oh, they kept me. Oh, it was Corey Feldman, I think he got into an argument with or something.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know if Michael St. Michael's had any lines in that movie.
No, I don't think so. I think it was just a cop. And I think he like grabs Corey Feldman or something. And I thought he said something like Corey thought I grabbed him too hard or something. Was a little bitch about it.
Not the first time I've heard Corey Feldman's a bitch,
no.
but whatever. What are you going to do? So yes, if that doesn't give it away, Michael St. Michael stars in a movie called The Greasy Strangler.
I'm sorry. My dad can get cranky sometimes.
As your father, I forbid you to marry.
He sure has a temper on him.
Hey! Stop talking to the customer and help Dad with his shorts.
Janet loves me. I love her.
You're making a big mistake.
Jody needs to go now. I am the Greasy Strangler.
Just by the title alone, you know that it's good.
Sounds like the teenage years, you know?
Yeah, it does. It sounds like a sex act.
It does.
You know?
It
You
sounds
got, like
dirty.
the donkey punch, the dirty Sanchez.
The Greasy Strangler.
The Greasy
The
Strangler.
rusty trombone.
The rusty trombone. The Greasy Strangler was released on October 7th, 2016. David, do you know what the number one movie... I'll give you a clue. The number one movie at the theater was not The Greasy Strangler.
Damn it, 'cause that's what I had. I'm going to go... So this is Halloween month. I'm going to go with something kind of in the horror realm.
Okay.
Kinda. I'm going to go Split, the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
No, it was not Split. But did you like that movie, Split?
I did. Yeah, did you like it?
I did. What was the one after that? Mr. Glass? What was it called?
Glass.
Glass. It was just called Glass. So there was the first one, which was Unbreakable, which is one of my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movies.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite.
Then there was Split, which I did like as well. And then Glass, which was good-ish.
Yeah, not as good as the other two.
Not as good as the other two. Did you ever see it?
No.
Oh.
I just saw Unbreakable and Split.
You should see Glass. You should complete the trilogy.
Yeah, I think I have it on my DVR. I just haven't got to it.
It was cool though that they got everybody back. Like
that is cool.
Like
bring Bruce Willis back.
Bruce Willis and also the kid who played his kid in Unbreakable.
Oh, that's cool.
Is back as well. So everybody's back.
Getting the band back together.
No, the Split was not the number one movie. The number one movie in the theater was The Girl on the Train.
Oh.
Which is based on a selling novel. Stars Emily Blunt.
I saw that movie.
Yeah. I saw it too.
I liked it.
I remember thinking it was okay. But it's one of those movies like The Girl on the Train or, well, that's what it is. But it's like, what was that other movie with Ben Affleck and his wife fakes her death? Spoiler alert.
Oh, Gone Girl?
Gone Girl.
Yeah, that movie's great. I love that movie.
Well, I do like that movie, but it's that same sort of genre.
Yeah,
like it's like a mystery.
What's going on?
Yeah. The number one song was, of course.
Oh shit! I don't know. I'm going "Heathens" by 21 Pilots.
No, but for some reason, 21 Pilots and this group, I confuse, and there's no reason to confuse them because they don't sound anything alike.
It's like the Chainsmokers or something?
Yes.
Is it? Dude, I mix them up too.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't think they're anything alike.
No, but they were kind of popular around the same time.
Exactly. It's Closer by the Chainsmokers featuring Halsey.
Yeah.
Which I had to listen to that song today just to familiarize myself with it. And
dude,
I don't remember it.
Really? Because when that song came out, there was no escape.
I just listened. Well,
constantly.
I'd heard it before. But I just listened to it again because I'm like, okay, let me just get it familiarized because I didn't remember like exactly what it was. And then I heard it. I'm like, oh, I've heard this song before. And now if you asked me to sing it, if you put a gun to my head, I'd say just pull the trigger.
Just kill me now.
Yeah, I'm not even going to guess.
I like Halsey. I don't like that song though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not that great. Greasy Strangler was written by Toby Harvard and Jim Hosking, directed by Jim Hosking with music by Andrew Hung. This movie was also, I read that name and I was like, David's going to laugh. He's going to think.
You are correct.
This movie was also produced in part by Elijah Wood.
I saw that.
And
Weird.
probably his production company, because he produces horror movies.
Yeah, he's a horror guy.
He's a horror guy. And this is kind of, I mean, I guess it's horror movie. It's horror adjacent.
Definitely.
It's billed as being a dark comedy horror film.
It's probably more that, but there's horror elements.
Yeah. The movie stars Michael St. Michaels as Big Ronnie and Sky Elobar as Big Braden, his son. We also got Elizabeth DeRazzo as Janet, Gil Gex as Big Paul. Everybody's big something, by the way.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but a lot of people are. Joe David Walters as Oinker, and then some other people. With a runtime of 93 minutes and a budget of I don't know what, this movie made approximately $45,878 in the box office. Now, that being said, it wasn't a wide release.
That's a really nice car. Yeah.
and the budget probably wasn't that much.
No, I wouldn't imagine so.
But it's probably made more money off of DVD sales, Blu-ray sales.
Yeah, I would say so. Streaming. Yeah.
Services. So, David, what is this movie about?
Damned if I know.
If you had to describe this movie to somebody, I was trying to think of it.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of how I would describe this movie to somebody. It would probably be like Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes, exactly.
Meets
That's
Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Dude, I was explaining it to a friend of ours not a couple days ago, and that's pretty much how I described it. It's like, imagine if you took Napoleon Dynamite, but part of like what made Napoleon Dynamite really funny was that it wasn't vulgar. Like, it was very clean. But take the same type of weird, awkward humor, make it very vulgar and very offensive. Yeah, and have like a serial killer element to it. And there's your movie.
It's Napoleon Dynamite meets Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yep. Thank you. Pride myself on my perfection.
Yeah.
We should just end the podcast right there because I can't get any better than that. But we'll talk about the plot of this movie in so much as there is a plot.
Yeah, it's not a story.
Yeah, there's a story. It's not just a series of vignettes about, just like there's a plot in Napoleon Dynamite. But I feel like with Napoleon Dynamite, much like this movie, if you just watched a segment, it would be entertaining.
Right.
You know, like you could just watch this part and you'd be entertained by it. You can just watch this part in the Greasy Strangler, and you don't need to watch what happened prior in order to get what's happening now or whatever. And I'm not going to give away. Gist. I'm not going to give away what I rated this movie. This movie is very interesting.
It's one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's
like,
very
right off the bat. Like within a few minutes, I was just like, "What on earth am I watching?"
Yeah, and you tweeted from our Swearwolves account pictures of both of us as we were watching the movie. I took a picture of myself as I was watching it, as did you, and we just kind of had faces of what the fuck is going on here.
What am I watching?
But the movie centers around Big Ronnie, who is an old man with just a giant uncircumcised dick.
A huge, huge dick. That we
just
see
looks
a
like
lot.
A snuffleupagus fucking trunk.
Big old elephant trunk, yeah. Just swinging past the knees.
And his son, who is a Big Braden, who is anything but big in the shorts. Braden's got a microphallus.
Very small pee-pee. He's got like a little dog dick.
I don't even know if it's like a dog. It's like a little baby.
It's little, like a tiny little chode.
Yeah, it's like a baby dick. It's just like,
it's like a little Pringle, or not a Pringle, a Cheeto.
Cheeto, yeah,
a little Cheeto pee-pee.
Cheeto dick. Ronnie and Braden, they run this tour,
like a walking tour.
A walking tour of all the hot spots that disco happened.
I guess so. Like, here's the spot where the Bee Gees performed, or where they wrote one of their songs.
Yeah, and this is where Kool and the Gang got the idea to write this song or whatever.
Yeah. And a few people go on this tour.
Yeah. It's just really weird. The movie opens up with by the way, Braden and Ronnie are always walking around in their underwear.
Constantly around their house.
Yep.
Yeah,
either
no shirts,
in their underwear or
just-
naked.
Yes, with their dicks either out or clearly defined underneath their underwear.
Yes. It opens up with Braden bringing Ronnie a cup of coffee in the morning. And Ronnie gets up and he starts talking to Braden. And I don't know, there's like, it's just weird. It's just dirty. The house is dirty. Everything about
disgusting.
this is dirty. Like, you want to just take a shower. There was a movie like that Harmony Korine, the guy who did the movie Kids, he made a movie called Gummo.
Oh,
I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. But
I haven't seen it, but I know the movie you're talking about.
That movie makes me want to take a shower. Like, after I watch it, it just makes me feel dirty.
Yeah.
It's not a bad movie. It just makes me feel dirty. There's a kid eating spaghetti and drinking milk while he's taking a bath. It just, I don't know. It's just
gross.
fucking, like, I just want to take a shower. Like, ugh. And there's lots of things to dislike about Gummo, but the one thing is that it always makes me feel filthy. But this movie has a similar vibe to it. It makes me feel like I got a film of shit all over
Yeah, you got to
me.
wash it off. You got to
wash it off.
exfoliate afterwards.
Yeah. And not to mention that they're constantly, I mean, there's a movie's called The Greasy Strangler. This guy, Ronnie, always wants his food cooked in grease.
Yeah, he likes everything greasy. And at that opening scene with the coffee, he's even talking about, like, how come people don't put grease in their coffee?
I know. I was confused. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's
Yeah,
like,
what are you
I want
talking about,
grease.
Ronnie?
I want grease in my coffee. And then Braden's like, why would you? He's like mentally that of a 6-year-old. And he's like, why would you want to do that? And Ronnie's probably like, you probably think I'm the Greasy Strangler. Well, let me tell you something. I am. And then and then Braden goes, bullshit artist.
Bullshit artist.
Like,
We won't
that's
hear that 100 more times in the movie.
Always, constantly. They say bullshit artist.
And why don't they just say bullshit?
I think it's a choice, David.
Oh, for sure.
I think this was a choice that they made. But yeah, bullshit artist is what he says. And then Ronnie's like, yeah, you're right. This is about as good as the acting is too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
You're right.
I am probably a bullshit artist.
And then they laugh.
For a lot of the laughter is also very prolonged.
A lot of these scenes go on uncomfortably long. I was watching this movie with my wife, and needless to say, that was probably more enjoyable. Was just watching her reaction.
Yeah, I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall for that one.
But one thing I know about my wife is she does not like humor that goes on uncomfortably long. Have you ever watched Tim and Eric? Awesome show. Good job.
Yeah.
Or Tom Goes to the Mayor.
There's a lot of that kind of humor.
Those two guys, Tim and Eric, they have a lot of that humor. Family Guy does that humor sometimes where
where just the joke just
Peter-
keeps going.
Peter gets kicked in the shin and he's all, and it just keeps going. And it goes on so long that it's not funny, but then continues to go on where it circles back around
And then it kind of
becomes
starts
funny.
becoming funny. Yeah.
It's like beating a dead horse, and then they just dig it up and they
And
beat
then
it,
beat the shit out of it again. Yeah.
So that's what this movie does
Over and over.
a lot. The editing is also such where it's not two people it's almost not two people having a conversation. It's like one person saying something and then they stop the camera, they turned it around and they pressed record again, and they're like,
now you
okay, you
react.
answer them. I don't think that's how they did it, but that's how the editing made me feel. It was like, and this is also something that I feel was a choice. I don't think these people
I
are
agree.
as bad of actors or bad of filmmakers as
No,
this movie.
it was deliberate. It's like
Yes.
when you and I record and there's a delay, like where
Yes.
one of us says something and then it's like, that's funny. There's a lot of that
that's not a
between like
choice.
lines.
That's not a choice. That's just us like having a delay. But yes, that was done that way on purpose in this movie. So if you're looking for a movie that's like, Citizen Kane of horror comedy films, this is not it.
Look elsewhere. Right.
But we do come to find out that Big Ronnie is actually the Greasy Strangler. And how we find that out is Ronnie and Braden are giving a tour of disco spots, and there are 4 people in the tour.
Yeah, like 4 tourists.
There's an Indian tourist, a Scandinavian tourist, and a Senegalese
from Senegal.
Yes, Senegalese. Thank you, tourist. Okay, and then there's also Janet.
Yes.
Now the 3 foreign tourists they get upset with Ronnie.
Yeah, they were told that
like,
there would be free drinks on the tour.
Yeah,
but he's like, no.
Water. And he's like,
Yeah,
we
he's like,
want
no
free
drinks.
drinks. And then he's like, no drinks, free drinks.
Free drinks.
And that goes back and forth. That's an example of the back and forth too long.
I think this was like the first taste of that, and I was like, oh, that's odd. Yeah, if I had only known at the time, like, buckle up, buddy. There's going to be a lot of this.
So that they hightail it out of there. They're like, fuck you.
Yeah,
We're out of here.
We're giving you a shitty review.
Janet stays, and Janet's all got goo-goo eyes for Braden.
Yep, they hit it off. He asks her out.
Yep, they're going to go out on a date. Bullshit artist. She's not going out with you.
No, she is. She is. We're
She
gonna go
is,
to
Dad,
dinner.
and she loves me.
Yeah, she might be the one. Bullshit artist. But that night, that's when we find out about the Greasy Strangler, because he goes and gets even with those tourists, and he slathers himself.
This is
in
another
grease.
scene. This is another scene though, when the guy's got the potato chips.
Oh my god! And he's like, "What are those potatoes made, or what are those chips made out of?" And he goes, "Porcho." And they're like, "What?" "Porcho." What? And this goes on for what feels like 20 minutes of him saying some word that no one can understand,
Well,
and
he's
everyone
saying
else going,
potato.
"What?"
He's saying
Yeah, he's saying potato, but it
he's
sounds like
saying it
porcho.
like he's got this thick Indian accent,
Yeah.
and he's saying like porto,
Yeah,
porto.
yeah, it goes on.
So
And then when they finally figure out that he's saying potato, then they proceed to laugh for another 5 minutes or so.
and then out pops Big Ronnie, covered in grease,
Yep.
covered in like white Crisco from head to toe, and he takes the Scandinavian guy and he throws him to the vending
To, like, the
through
vending machine.
breaking the glass and killing him.
The Senegalese guy like punches him like in the face, and it almost like a balloon or something kind of deflates his face or like dents it in.
dents it in like Play-Doh.
Yeah.
And then the Indian guy is like, I have money. I own my own business. I have whatever. He's like, don't kill me. And he strangles that guy.
Yep.
Hence the name, the Greasy Strangler.
There you go.
And then Big Ronnie cleans himself off. This is where we first get a shot of his hog.
The duck. He goes to the car wash. He likes to clean himself off by letting all the brushes and everything rub up on him.
Yep.
And the guy that runs the car wash is a blind man, so he doesn't know.
And his name is Big Paul.
Yeah, but we see his dick for the first time. First of many times.
It's a fake dick,
Oh, yeah.
but it's a dick nonetheless.
A big one at that.
Yep. It makes like Marky Mark, his dick in
in Boogie
Nights. It makes it look like normal. This thing is, and it's grotesque looking.
It's disgusting. It's all pointy.
Yeah, because it's got like just this pointy like foreskin just hanging off, uncircumcised fucking.
Like
You know
a
what
fucking-
smells like cheese?
Yeah. It's like an anteater's nose.
Yeah, yes, it's an anteater's nose. That's exactly it. It's a fucking anteater dick.
Yeah, pretty much.
So he kills them. Janet and Braden start dating, I guess.
I guess so. And Big Ronnie is upset about it, and he's worried that Braden's going to move out because he kind of takes care of him.
Yeah, and he keeps threatening him. And he's like, you do that, I'm going to evict you.
Yeah.
And Braden's like, oh, don't evict me, Dad.
No.
I don't want to go live with Mom because Mom is... Mom's date. Oh, what is her boyfriend?
She like left Big Ronnie for some dude who's got like 6-pack abs or something, some buff dude.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name.
Ricky Prickles.
Ricky Prickles.
Yeah, Mom left Dad for Ricky Prickles, and Ricky Prickles doesn't like Braden, and Braden doesn't like Ricky Prickles, so that's why he lives with Dad. Dad is getting jealous of Janet, and gets pissed off at a hot dog vendor one night because he wants him to add grease.
He wants grease on the hot dog. And the
hot
guy's
dog
like,
vendor's
no,
like,
it's not
"I can't
safe. I
do
could
that.
lose my license.
I could lose my license. And then he's like, put more grease on that. I'm telling you, I could lose my license. Put grease on it. I could lose my
can't.
license.
I don't want to lose my license.
This fucking movie.
And that's the quality of the dialogue. It's about how they say it. I would love to help you out. Nothing would bring me more pleasure. But you must understand, if I do that, the risk is that I could lose my license.
Put more grease on it.
So he just goes back there and does it himself. It's like, ah.
When they were writing this script, do you think they just copy and pasted like the two lines over and over?
To save time.
Do this for a page and a half. We'll get it up to 88
There's a lot of Control C going on.
They should have been Control
what about
X.
The scene where,
it should have been.
What's that?
It should have been Control X.
Yes. Drag it to the trash bin. The scene where, I think it's right before the hot dog, where he's talking to his son about going out with Janet. He's naked in bed. He rolls over and sticks his butthole up in the air and farts.
Yeah, he goes, hey, Braden, I got to tell you a secret. And he's like, come closer. And he's like, yeah, what is it, Dad? And he rolls over and we see his dirty fucking brown butthole. He fucking lets one rip. And it's not even like a excessively loud one either. It's just kind of like a...
It's like, oh, Dad.
So fucking gross. What would you do if your fucking dad did that?
Showed me his butthole and farted.
Yes. Feels like, David, I got to tell you something. And he rolled over on his back and his fucking brown eye was looking at you.
And it winked at me and then farted. Oh, God.
All right, so he kills the hot dog vendor. The hot dog vendor goes to take a shit, and he strangles him, pops his eyeballs out, and then cooks his eyeballs and eats them.
His eyeballs pop out, and then he eats them.
Yep, he cooks them in grease and eats them. Goes and takes his shower and talks to Big Paul again. Meanwhile, Braden and Janet are they have
their
sex.
hot date.
They end up having sex, and she's riding him. She's on top, and he keeps talking to her. Am I doing it right, Janet? Janet,
like
am
this?
I doing this
like
right?
this, Janet? Like this, Janet?
She's just
Janet.
not listening.
Like this? Yeah, and she's just humping.
We haven't seen his little weenie yet, but then when we do, it's like, well, how the fuck did that happen?
Dude,
she was just grinding.
Before they bang, though, Braden is telling her about how he wants to write fantasy novels and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's telling her the plot of one of his stories, and it involves an amulet or something. And I like this. She says, I'll bet you have a really big amulet. And there's kind of an awkward pause, and he goes, I don't have an amulet. And then she just shows him her boobs just randomly.
And he starts sucking on them.
And she's like, I didn't tell you could do that. He's like, oh, I'm sorry.
And then they have sex.
Yeah.
We meet Oinker, who is Braden's best friend.
What's this guy's deal?
He doesn't have a nose, so he wears a fake
pig nose. Like a mask, like a latex pig nose or something. Why?
Yeah. I don't know.
This isn't explained how he lost his nose or why he chooses to wear a pig snout.
Yeah.
Just go with it.
But Oinker exists, and he's Braden's best friend, and they proceed to cook greasy food for the Greasy Strangler. They all go see a movie together.
Yeah, and they're eating popcorn.
Yeah. And
greasy popcorn. They pour grease all over it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just fucking, I don't know. It's just weird.
But Oinker, he's not long for this world because the Greasy Strangler goes to his house and kills him and strangles him and then takes his nose off and dips his finger in his nose hole and I think tastes it. So gross.
So fucking gross.
So gross.
Braden gets the phone call that Oinker's dead. But him and Ronnie start arguing, and Ronnie is like, I'm going to take your girlfriend out. I'm going to take Janet out.
He's like, no, you're not. He's like, uh-huh.
And the argument lasts for a long time. But he does take Janet out. He takes her out to a discotheque.
That's a very awkward scene.
He's wearing this outfit. It's like this purple,
lace or something, or
I don't know,
spandex.
lame, spandex material, but the crotch is just see-through.
See-through. You see his dick.
See his
and his
big
bush.
dick.
So weird. He tells Janet a story about how, like, back in the day, he knew Michael Jackson. Yeah, he tells her this weird story about how they went out to, like, a bar, and then he put Smooth Criminal on and, like, started dancing, and then there was a big fight, and Michael Jackson beat the shit out of a couple of guys or something, and, like, both of them did. And then, like, people were impressed and applauded them, and then they just banged a couple chicks in front of everybody in the club.
And then came all over their faces.
Yes.
And then he drove Michael Jackson to the airport.
Yep.
The next day. Bullshit artist.
Yeah. But she rejects his advances initially. Because he goes in for a kiss and she's like, no, I love your son.
Yep. She goes back to Braden and she's consoling Braden and they have sex, I guess.
Is this the scene where he's fingering her butthole? Or is that later in the movie? I don't know.
I think that's this one.
Checking her oil.
But after that, she's leaving and Ronnie comes up outside to her. And now she's giving him the eye.
Mm-hmm.
And so she decides she's going to sleep with Ronnie. And they proceed to have sex all night long. And he eats her bush. And then he fucking pours like olive oil all over it. And
so gross.
He's just going to town munching on that.
And Brayton can hear it all, like from his room, and he's like, ah.
And then, what does he call her? He calls her a hottie toddy disco.
Oh,
what?
God. He calls her a, hold on.
You would think I would know because
Hootie Tootie Disco Cutie.
Yeah.
And they say it over and over about 1,000 times.
And then they're like, Hootie Tootie Disco Cutie, Hootie Tootie Disco Cutie.
And this goes on.
And Braden
Brett, I got to tell you
like,
something. I had a headache when I started watching this movie. By about this point, my head was going to explode. Like I could feel like rage like taking over me. I was like, please stop. But yeah, that goes on and on. But Brayton gets a call about Winker. So they go over and his body's still there. I don't even think the police are there anymore, but his body's just chilling on the couch. And he's talking about how like, oh, I think I know who's responsible for this and I'm going to get my revenge. And he's telling Janet all of this while they're still in the guy's apartment and the dead body's in the background and they're eating like cheese puffs.
Yeah. And just
talking about like the revenge plot and they're just eating like with the body right next to him.
And I think there's a bowl of just marshmallows from Lucky Charms. I think there's a bowl of that sitting next to him too. Braden professes his love to Janet and Janet's like, you know what? I love you too.
Yeah. And he's like, I think my dad's the Greasy Strangler though. So just for the time being, keep your distance. Like she's like, oh, I need to come over. And he's like, no, don't come over. But let's have phone sex quietly. Yeah.
Ronnie overhears all of this.
Her phone sex quickly, I think.
And he gets pissed off and he goes down and kills Big Paul and chops his head off and throws it through a basketball. Tries to throw it through a basketball hoop. It doesn't go through. So Braden and Janet call a detective named Jody.
Where'd they get this guy's number? It's Ronnie in a disguise.
Disguise?
I guess so. Like, it clearly looks just like him.
He has long fingernails for some reason. And sunglasses.
Yeah.
And a mustache.
Yeah, and his teeth, wasn't it like a grill or something?
It was like braces.
Yeah.
He's like,
but clearly him.
Detective Jody.
With his fucking long-ass Howard Hughes fingernails.
And they show him, they're like, I think my dad's the Greasy Strangler. And here's the grease that he left on the floor. And he's like, this is circumstantial evidence. You need to drop this.
Yeah, drop this immediately. Your dad very well may be the Greasy Strangler, but there isn't enough evidence here. Let it go. No.
So they're like, well, I guess we're going to have to do it ourselves. And he's like, you need to drop this immediately. Now I must go. And he goes outside and he just goes behind a bush and he just changes his clothes back into fucking Big Ronnie's clothes. That night they are
Ronnie overhears Janet and Braden,
they're
they're falling back in love.
Ronnie's under the bed, and they're like banging each other.
Yeah, he gets super jealous. So then that's when he goes and kills the car wash guy.
Well, no, that happened before. Right now when he's under the bed, he comes out and this is when he hits Braden, and Braden knocks out, and he grabs Janet, and then he dips himself as the Greasy Strangler, and he takes Janet away.
Takes her away.
And then Braden's like, "What?" He wakes up.
By
the way, he hits him so
just barely taps him,
barely
and
touches him, and then Braden's all, "Oh." And
he wakes up and he's like, I can be greasy too, Dad. I can be greasy too.
And
Dad, I can be greasy. I can be greasy too. It's like, oh, stop. Just do it.
He finds the vat of grease and he gets
himself all greased up.
By the way, in this scene, you can see someone holding the vat so it doesn't tip over.
Oh, I didn't notice.
You can see their knuckles on the thing. I rewound
Doesn't he completely submerge himself into the barrel?
Yep. And then he comes out and he follows him to the movie theater. And at the movie theater, the dad is strangling
Janet.
And Braden comes up and he stops the dad, and then he starts strangling Janet to the point where her eyeballs pop out.
Dude, when that happened, were you like, holy shit?
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I did not see that twist coming, that he was going to kill his girlfriend.
And then him and the dad both eat the eyeballs.
Yep. And finish watching the movie.
They become the Greasy Stranglers to get together, and they go wash themselves in the car wash, and they're
holding hands while they're getting washed with their
out on the
dicks
beach
flopping.
Well, one dick's flopping.
One not so much. One is more of a twitch. It's like a blade of grass, like in a gentle breeze.
Yep. The next day, they're out on the beach, and Ronnie tells Braden that basically that he loves him.
Yeah.
And that he cares for him. And
I like he's like, Janet was gross. And I think he's like, Janet was gross.
She was disgusting.
He's like, I'm glad she's dead.
And then Braden.
Oh, and then he's like, oh, good.
I was going to say Braden turns to his dad and goes, "Let's kill Ricky Prickles."
And they say it like 5 or 6 times. Let's kill
Ricky Prickles. And so the next scene you see them, they're chasing after Ricky Prickles, who's like, "Fuck you, I'm really fast, I can run." And they're running through the woods.
Fast as fuck, boy.
And Ricky Prickles trips and falls, and he's like, "Oh shit!"
Oh, fuck.
They kill him
and eat him.
Yeah, and then they eat him, and then they're watching themselves being executed by a firing squad.
I did not understand this. They look and they see themselves tied up and get shot, and then when their heads explode, like confetti comes out. What?
And champagne.
Yes.
And then they go deep into the forest and they climb up this wall, and then they're like looking at the camera, and they have sticks and they're like poking at the camera.
And like,
wooden spears like they're Neanderthals.
And that's it.
And that's the end of the movie. Okay, I'll start.
You go? All right.
I'll go. Is this movie good? The answer is no. Is it worth watching? The answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
Will I watch this movie again? Probably not.
Yeah.
However, I think people should watch this movie. I think there's enough in this movie that it just makes... Well, the answer is probably no, but it could be yes if I was like, hey, you guys want to see a fucked up movie?
You want to see something fucking weird? Yeah. Greasy Strangler?
And not fucked up like what's that movie? The Green Inferno or that other one. That other one about that they killed real things, you know.
Oh, Cannibal Holocaust? Yeah, not like
Holocaust.
shocking kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's not shocking.
Just bizarre.
Bizarre.
Yeah, I texted one of our mutual friends that's into this kind of stuff after I watched it, and I was like, have you seen The Greasy Strangler? And he's like, of course.
So I could watch it again, but I probably won't be like, you know what I feel like watching tonight?
Right.
Put it on The Greasy Strangler.
Yeah, I will never, those words will never come out of my mouth.
But it is worth watching. So for that alone, and for the fact that I thought, despite the bad acting, despite the shitty kind of filmmaking. It was all done intentionally.
Yes.
So I understand and appreciate.
Yeah, this is a movie trying to be bad.
Yes, and I understand and appreciate that sort of sense of humor. I like that sort of sense of humor. My wife hates it, so that's where we differ. I'm going to give it 2.5 Pamela Voorhees Heads.
Check you out. Dude, I was actually looking forward to talking about this movie because I was very curious where you were going to land on this one. Because I was like, I could see Bret liking this movie. I could also see Bret hating this movie. Mm-hmm. And I'm more on the other side. I did not like this movie. And I'm sure there's going to be listeners who be like, well, David, you just didn't get it. Correct. I didn't get it.
Like, you get it, you just don't like it.
Yeah. Like, I was just annoyed.
Yeah.
No,
Plus you had that headache.
There were parts that made me laugh. There were a couple parts where I laughed out loud. But for I spent most of the movie in various states of annoyance where I was just like, oh, God, come on. Pausing it like, oh, how much time is left? Oh, Jesus, there's still 45 minutes to go. But there was some weird-ass stuff that happened, and there's definitely some laughs. And I agree with you, like, intentionally bad, awkward kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just not my cup of tea. But if that is your cup of tea, it's a movie I would recommend people checking out. I'm going to go 1 on this one. I can't. Okay. At first I was thinking half, but I was like, no, because there's stuff in this movie that was genuinely funny. Yeah. So I'll give it that.
There is stuff that's genuinely funny, and I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree with everything that you said. I just think like it takes a specific. You have to enjoy a specific type of humor. Yeah. In order to enjoy a movie like this. And if you don't enjoy that type of humor, that's perfectly fine. It doesn't mean you don't understand it. Like, you understand it just fine. My wife understands this. It's not like I'm like, well, you don't understand. No, I understand.
Yeah, and maybe I just wasn't in the mood for that kind of movie when I watched it, but I was like, ugh.
And that's fine. You're right. It's not for everybody. So 1.75. 1 3/4 heads.
Yeah, there you go.
That's probably where it should. That's probably where it should line. Like in the whole scheme of things, like, yeah. But I say if you're up for something new that you haven't seen, and you're like, I've seen all these fucking movies.
Yeah, and you want something that's just completely off the wall.
Yes,
this is your jam.
It was on Freevee.
Yeah, that's where I watched it for free.
Yeah, you can watch it with commercials on Freevee, so you can download that app. I also watched it on there. The commercials gave me time to go, what the fuck? What the fuck just happened? Yes. However, I will say, it was a long watch. Like that.
It felt long.
That Dude, hour and a half.
This movie was so weird that there was a part where it cut to a commercial, and I thought the commercial was part of the movie. And I was like, oh, this is a weird scene. And I was like, wait a second. They're talking about car insurance or something.
Yeah. It kind of makes me want to meet those guys the next time I see them at a convention.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like,
yeah, I'd be like, hey, I didn't like your movie, but I do admire the commitment and the willingness to like kind of debase themselves a little bit, like walking around with a giant fake dick, like sticking your ass, your butt up in the air and stuff.
Yeah, or a miniature fake dick.
Yeah.
If you have any thoughts on the Greasy Strangler that you want to share with us, or you have any comments, questions, or suggestions of the like, you should contact us. How can they contact us?
Like,
I don't know what that even
questions
fucking means.
Or what have yous, inquiries. You can reach out to us on social media, on Twitter, Facebook, the Slasher app, TikTok, YouTube. Just search the Swearwolves. On Instagram, search for us under the Swearwolves podcast. You can go to our website, theswearwolves.com. You can email us at our new email address at contact@theswearwolves.com. You can still email our other address. It'll just get forwarded to the new one, whatever. Or you can leave us a voicemail, 623-282-1851.
So for the Swearwolves this week, I'm Bret.
I'm David.
And David is a hootie-tootie disco cutie.
With a big old dick.